Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. The main reason, of course, to participate in Movember is for men's mental health. And why men's mental health is, well, why not everybody's mental health? I think that's maybe the question that sometimes we ask. I think it's because of men tend to be less likely to ask for help when help is needed. And in my role as a mindfulness teacher, I think it's important because I struggled with these things myself, and meditation classes, for example. When I'm in a meditation class and I look around the room, it's never a surprise that it's filled with ladies. It's not something that you see a lot of men doing. And interestingly, yoga class is also a place that seems to have a vast majority of women, and I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, maybe there's more to it these days. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and that there's something just about yoga that draws women and makes men feel, I don't know, that like they shouldn't be there, or something like that. Who knows? I guess no point to really try and figure out what it is. I mean, yoga, by the way, is it was really. I mean, it's for everybody, of course, but you see in India, especially back before yoga was popularized in the West, it was a very male thing to do as well. Maybe probably more so than ladies doing yoga. So who knows why these different kind of things have developed. However, not only do you see less men and in yoga and meditation classes, but sometimes men are also the ones who have the biggest problem admitting that there's something wrong with mental health. And that's not a surprise, because men still these days, and I was recently watching a few experts talk about the evolution of the family in society today, as more women are taking higher responsibility roles in companies. What's going on, and as society evolves and becomes more accepting to that, where do men's role in society, what do men's roles in society become? And I think that can be really troubling as well. So if I'm not the breadwinner, then what am I? And I think that's there's a really strong identity crisis that can happen in there, and what ends up happening is that men don't stop working to be the parent who's raising the children, or just can't get comfortable with that idea, because the idea of being the breadwinner is so deeply ingrained in not only our psyche from childhood, but also in society. And so this is just something that will take time. And I have to say, I'm really, you look at, in America, for example, women's right to vote is just barely over 100 years old. So, a lot has happened in the last 100 years, and I think as we look in the future, we can expect a lot more evolution, especially with the way, we can see this kind of exponential evolution of humanity in the last, several hundred years since the Industrial Revolution. So I have hope. But in the meantime, there is this kind of, the evolution doesn't happen through osmosis. There has to be activity, and there has to be people who are strong and who are driving change. And one of these changes is, of course, is as we change. Change isn't easy. Change isn't easy for anybody. And as society changes and men begin to hopefully begin to settle into new roles that maybe aren't as comfortable. That when the identity crisis hits, that we are strong enough to seek help. And that's really kind of what Movember is about. So if you didn't know what Movember is, I suppose I probably should have led with this. Movember is at the beginning of November. Some men will, to raise awareness for men's mental health, to shave their face clean and grow a mustache. And we see at the end of November, who's got the biggest mustache, or something, some male competitive thing like that, I guess. And no, I mean, just kidding. I mean, it is. I suppose mustaches are a bit more common these days than they were just a few years ago. But the idea is it is a little bit unusual still for someone to have a mustache and no other facial hair. And I'm sure people today, I'm going to go swimming later with my team, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of questions as to what is going. Who are you? I suppose that's the first question. Is like, who are you? Are you the new guy joining the swim team? It's like, no, it's just Ryan with no facial hair. And so then I get to have that conversation. I get to talk about men's mental health. So this isn't the only time today. I'm sure I'll get to talk about men's mental health and its role. And if you're a woman and you're here today, I mean, one of the things that you can do, first of all, is know that men aren't the only ones who need to look after their mental health. Women and non-binary people and everyone needs to be aware that mental health is an important topic, and that denying it and self-medicating with alcohol or drugs or avoidance. I mean, even avoidance, doing something to distract yourself from all of your problems. These aren't ways to really fix it, right? What's there is, I think there's a lot of fixing the symptom instead of fixing the root cause that goes on these days. So seeing a therapist certainly is a great first step. If you've never been to therapy before, and maybe that feels challenging. I was counseling somebody before I left Hong Kong about seeking therapy for his drug addiction, and it's just amazing how much resistance there was to this. And I guess maybe that's it, is you just kind of need to go the first time, and that can be really helpful to know. Or maybe and that's it, right? Is you like finding a therapist is a bit like dating. You're not necessarily going to find the right person on the first go that meshes with you and it's the right person to help. And then after you've found your therapist, not that everybody needs a therapist, but after you've found that person that meshes with you, being okay to take some of these proactive approaches to mental health, to find things that can help you, instead of putting a Band-Aid on the solution. See if you can really deal with the root cause. And one of the things that can really strengthen our mental health is building awareness. It's very difficult to know what to do, to even seek help, if we aren't honest with ourselves and we aren't aware of what's going on. So let's get into practice. I'm already looking at the chat and it looks great. Yes, India, and don't men in India do meditation and yoga? Absolutely. This must have been a while back that this came up. Anyway, I'm not going to look at the chat, I said, and then I start looking at the chat. Let's get into our practice, okay? So today's practice is going to be a mindfulness practice. So a practice of building awareness, which really is a very strong foundation for mental health. So get comfortable wherever you are. A good meditation posture is one that combines relaxation and alertness. So I would encourage you to sit up straight and tall, not leaning against anything, seeing if you can sit up straight by your own power, by the power of your abdominal muscles and your back muscles. But also not tensing those muscles as you sit up. So one of the things that can help is having the knees slightly lower than the hips. So for me, I'm sitting on a meditation cushion. My knees are down. I'm sitting cross-legged. And then starting to scan into the body. Always kind of like to start with the head and face. I find there's usually a bit of tension in my face as I begin. Maybe determination to make this a quote-unquote good meditation or great meditation. I'm going to stay focused today. It's good to have that intention, but not so much that it causes strain on the face. So seeing if you can let the face relax. Let the neck and shoulders relax. If you find tension, remembering not to try hard to make the tension go away, because that can actually cause more tension. Notice the back. Is there any tension there? The abdomen. And notice that you're breathing. As you become aware of the breath, is it possible to let go of any tension that you have on the exhalation? So breathing in, inviting in renewed energy, renewed life, fresh oxygen. Breathing out, letting go of tension, letting go of whatever it is that's on your mind. Breathing out waste products of metabolism, carbon dioxide. Breathing in, breathing out, just allowing your breath to be at its own pace, letting your body breathe. Letting the wisdom of your body know when it's time to inhale, when it's time to exhale. And see if you can keep your attention focused on the breath. And so the primary object of meditation is observing the breath, observing the physical sensations of breath, the rising and falling of the abdomen as you breathe. And if as you pay attention to breath, you still have room for more awareness, can you become aware of the impact that your breath has on the rest of your body? So we're focusing on the breath. As we focus, can we also feel changes in muscle tension in the face, in the shoulders, in the back? Can we notice changes in the heart rate? And keep it up, you're doing great. Keep your attention focused on the breath. If you find that your mind is wandering, you're thinking about what's coming up next, or what you've just come through, or daydreaming, or anything at all, just remembering that your purpose here now is to train your awareness. And we'll train our awareness by, as best we can, holding attention on that physical sensation of breath. So keep it up. Keep your attention held on that gentle movement of the abdominal wall. And remember, when your mind wanders, you haven't done anything wrong. That's a normal part of this process. Just be aware that kind of, oh, there it is. And just kindly bringing your attention back to your breath. we have less than 1 minute to go, so keep it up. Redouble your effort. Be determined to stay focused on the breath. Congratulations, everyone, for making it through today's practice. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay, well done. How'd it go today? And while you're thinking about that, here's meditation cat. There we go. Is that, see, that's a happy face, right? Is that happy? Is it happy? You can never tell. No, I'm just kidding. I know. It's really funny, right? The relationship with animals. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I do want to look at the chat and chat a bit more about this. And as I'm just looking through, what I see Rachel saying they're the same. They're the same with physical health, meaning men also tend to be the same with physical health. And yeah, this tends to be true as well. And what I wanted to say after seeing that is that my partner is in a male-dominated industry, and pretty much all of the leaders around her, the other leaders around her, most of them are male. She ends up in a lot of situations where she's the only woman in the room. And she's learned a lot about how to thrive in that environment. And I think one thing that I really appreciate about her exposure to that is her insight as to what men are like. And I really, she says often, just talks about how men are funny, and explains some things that she picks up here and there. And I really love listening to these conversations, because there's it was I think Carl Sagan who said, evolutionarily, if we look at our genetic code, that human beings and chimpanzees are closer than chimpanzees are with any other animal. Like chimpanzees and gorillas, or chimpanzees and even bonobos aren't closer. Chimpanzees and humans are very, very similar in our genetic makeup. And I think that it's not surprising to see chimpanzee traits in human beings. And so, what is it? What are we men trying to accomplish? I really do feel there's this, why do you climb to the top of a mountain, right? I mean, is it kind of the same as climbing to a tree and shouting and like chimpanzees do? I mean, I really do think we've got a lot of this leftover DNA, and as I'm always going to say, it's awareness that's going to help us. right? The very first tool is why I'm here doing this practice, because the very first piece of your escaping your animal instincts is to be aware that they are there. Denying that they're there isn't going to work. So thanks, Rachel, for sharing that. And I'll say I recently had my health check, and I think I stalled, and it was I think it was subconscious, right? I don't think I stalled on purpose. I'm just like, I don't want to have a full body check. Why? It's a waste. How much time do I have to spend doing it? How much? In the end, it was my partner ended up scheduling it for me, and so, which I'm thankful for. I got it done, and things are okay. I have to say I'm quite healthy. A couple little minor things going on, but what is it? I'm scared to learn that stuff. We hate doctors and hospitals. Yeah, that's right. Young guy. Thanks, Caesar. That's what people say. All right, I look younger. I look younger without the beard. I don't know. And these people driving change are mainly women, right? And I think partially because of that, it's right. What do you say? The person who's on top doesn't need to challenge the status quo, and probably isn't even aware how oppressive the status quo is, because there's just no incentive, right? You just kind of go, it's our natural tendency to think everyone's like me, right? And so that when you meet a stranger, you just kind of think that, well, this person's situation in life is similar to mine, because that's what we do. I think I noticed yesterday in an online interaction I was interacting with a woman, but because of that natural thing, my first impression was that I was talking to a man, right? And then I realized my awareness, and I went, oh, this is just something natural that I do. I just kind of assume that the other person is in Asia, and I think that it's probably a man. It's probably a white man, right? I mean, these are just like normal natural tendencies that take effort to recognize that you're doing, right? And then recognizing, then the next step, after you recognize you're doing it, is it possible to start to have some tweaking and changing and through repetition and practice. Yeah, and seeing a therapist can be very helpful. If you are seeing a therapist and you're doing mindfulness practice, I would encourage you to try to include your therapist in that, so that your therapist can kind of monitor your progress and help. Most therapists these days may not be mindfulness practitioners, probably are not mindfulness practitioners, the majority, but at least they're aware of mindfulness as a mental health tool. Distracted by the naked Movember look. Yeah. Me too. I mean, actually, because I don't walk by the mirror that much, and so each time I walk by the mirror, it's like, whoa, I get a bit of a shock. But yeah, what's the must? What why the facial hair? I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's a topic for another time. I think changing look. I did think about that a little bit before our practice today. See, was it time to talk about the impermanence of the way that we look, our attachment to the thing we see in the mirror, or the rejection of it, the expectation that I think that most of us have, that when we look in the mirror, we're going to see the 18-year-old version of ourselves, and then realize, oh, wait a minute, it's 40 plus version of me. The one with the crow's feet around the eyes when I smile. Yeah, that one. That's going to continue aging because of the direction that time moves, at least for human beings and things on Earth. Time moves in one direction. When women rule the world, we'll have peace. Well, yeah, I don't know, right? That we don't know because we've never had that yet. So I'm be curious. I'll be excited. I'm excited to for that time when things start to shift, and Frank's really. Oh, I see. I have some insect in here. I'll be really excited to see when women have more positions of power, to see how things change. Would we? What's war look like with, or does it even exist with women in charge? I don't know. So yeah, I hope one day we do have this situation with more female leaders. I know a little bit firsthand about female leaders because one lives in my home. So it's interesting, and I think it's maybe the most important thing isn't to have female leaders, but it's important to have skilled leaders. I don't think that your gender necessarily instantly qualifies you more in this case. I think everybody. I think that's implied, but there's certainly there are differences in how we nurture, how we do things. Aren't there more Asian men than white men in Asia? Of course there are. That's what I mean. Like, why would I? That's the like me thing going on. So I'm certainly in the minority by a long shot here, but it's just kind of one of those things that I find myself doing. Just kind of thinking that the person I'm interacting with is like me. All right. Lovely to be here. Lovely to share this time with you. Lovely to lead this practice. Hope you are all doing well wherever you are. Happy Movember. Remember your mental health, no matter who you are, and no matter who you are, support those around you as best you can. Let's close our practice with some well wishes for ourselves and for others. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life, all human beings, near and far, big or small, male, female, or non-binary, may we all be happy and peaceful. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.